Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, I want to talk with you about something that's been keeping a lot of folks up at night, especially if you or someone you love relies on Social Security or Medicaid to get by. President Trump's big, beautiful bill is making waves in the Senate right now, and trust me, what happens next could touch everything from your tax refund to how your local hospital keeps its doors open. And guess what? Some of the changes, buried in the fine print, might surprise you more than you'd think. So stick with me because knowing what's in this bill might help you plan a little better for what's ahead. Before we get rolling, I'd really love to hear from you down below. How you feel about big tax cuts if they come with cuts to other programs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you find these talks helpful, hit subscribe so you never miss a calm, clear update like this one. So first things first, the headline everybody's seen is about tax cuts, right? Well, yeah. The big beautiful bill keeps Trump's old tax breaks alive and adds a few new ones. Some seniors will see extra tax relief, which means a little more money staying in your pocket each year. That's a plus, no doubt. And here's the twist, paying for those cuts means trimming money somewhere else. So what does Congress want to trim? That's where it gets real. One big target is Medicaid. And, a lot of people think Medicaid is just for younger low-income folks, but here's the kicker. Millions of seniors rely on it too. It helps cover nursing homes, home aides, stuff Medicare doesn't fully pay for. So then, if the government tightens who qualifies or adds work rules, some older people could get caught up in red tape or lose that help altogether. You see, back in Arkansas a few years ago, they tried a work rule for Medicaid. On paper, sounds fine, work if you can, right? But a lot of people lost coverage just because they didn't fill out paperwork on time or got confused by the website. So yeah, the fear is that seniors or their caregivers could run into the same headache. And more folks showing up at the ER without insurance means hospitals eat the cost. That's tough for rural hospitals that already struggle to stay open. And speaking of hospitals, there's a part of this bill that might protect small, rural clinics from sudden cuts. Some senators want to add a chunk of money, kind of a cushion, to help these hospitals keep the lights on if Medicaid money dries up a bit. But here's the catch. Some lawmakers don't want to spend an extra dime, so they're fighting over that too. Now, beyond healthcare, let's talk about something that not many people realize is hiding in this bill. Big changes to government jobs. Right now, most federal workers have pretty good job protections. This bill could flip that. It would make it so new federal workers could be fired pretty easily unless they pay for a special job security plan. Think about that. Someone processing your Social Security check or the folks at the local Social Security office, they could be more worried about losing their jobs than helping you quickly. Some people say this makes government more efficient. Others say it weakens important services seniors depend on. And you know what's weird? There's also a new tax on union dues. So if you're retired and counting on unions to stand up for your pension or elder care protections, that power might shrink a bit too. Unions would have to pay more just to operate, and a lot of them say that's not by accident. Now, there's also a part about judges. Originally, this bill tried to limit judges from stopping presidential orders across the country. The idea was if a judge doesn't like something Trump signs, they can't freeze it for everybody, just for people in their area. Well, that got tossed out because it didn't follow the budget rules for this kind of bill. But still, it shows you the bigger plan. Make the government run more directly from the White House and less from courts or agencies. So let's pause for a second. A lot of people have been asking me, why push so much change at once? Well, some folks say the country is spending too much and big cuts are the only way to keep debt under control. Others think all this takes away important protections that regular families rely on. It's a balancing act, and the Senate is basically fighting over where to draw the line. And speaking of fighting, you've probably heard about the Voterama. It sounds funny, but it's serious. It's an all-night session where senators throw out amendments to see what sticks. It's like political karaoke mixed with marathon debate. Lots of drama, but not all changes actually pass. Still, this is where some senators will try to fix bits they don't like making sure rural hospitals get help, or tweaking energy credits, or blocking parts they see as too harsh. One thing I really want you to watch for is how this affects Social Security offices and staff. If budgets get squeezed and workers feel less secure, you might see longer wait times, more mistakes, or fewer offices open near you. Nobody wants that, but it could be a real side effect if the civil service protections shrink too much. Now, while the Senate votes, the House of Representatives has its own ideas. They have different priorities, like keeping certain tax breaks for states with higher taxes. If the Senate and House don't match, they'll have to hammer out a final deal, which could drag this out for weeks. And if that drags on, seniors and families might get stuck waiting to see what actually changes. So, what does all this mean for you? Sitting at home, just trying to budget your groceries and meds. First, don't panic. No changes happen overnight. But this is a good time to double-check your own finances. If you rely on Medicaid or think you might soon, talk to a trusted social worker or advisor about your options. Make sure your paperwork is up to date. Sometimes little details save big headaches if rules tighten. Also, stay informed. It's easy to tune out Congress because, let's be honest, they argue a lot. But when they move fast, small parts of these big bills can change lives. Watch for updates from reliable sources, and if you see something that doesn't make sense, ask questions, including here in the comments too. And think about your local services. If your town has a small hospital or clinic, or if you live in a rural area, these budget talks really do hit close to home. Some communities might have to push back, fundraise more, or even merge with bigger hospitals to stay open. It's not just a Washington thing, it's a kitchen table thing. Now a quick story. A few years ago, my uncle, he's 76 now, needed round-the-clock care after a bad fall. Medicare covered a lot, but it was Medicaid that paid for his nursing aide who helped him stay at home instead of moving to a facility. If rules had changed back then, he might have lost that help, and my family would have had to scramble for money or move him somewhere unfamiliar. So, yeah, these details matter. They're not just numbers. So next, keep an eye out for the Senate's final vote. And remember, after that, the House still needs to agree, and the president signs it in the end. Nothing's truly final till then. Before we close up today, I want to ask, what's the one thing you worry about most when you hear about big bills like this? Drop a comment, even just a word or two, because your voice helps me understand what to cover next. And hey, if this helped you feel a little clearer on what's happening, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really keeps this community growing, calm, and well-informed. I appreciate each one of you tuning in, asking good questions, and looking out for each other. All right, that's it from me for now. I'll keep an eye on what's next, and you can bet I'll be back here soon to talk through what it means for you. Till then, stay safe, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you in the next one.